Do we have a sign-in sheet? Are you, oh, you're just checking.
Mine was
Come to go.
Yeah, sir.
Correct.
Yeah.
The one on your side.
Is that Tom?
Yeah, Tom can't be here.
Randall's waiting in the lobby.
Don't leave him there too long.
Here, I'm waiting.
I'm trying to get my mouse going here.
Not sure what damage you can do in the lobby.
There we go.
Good morning. I'll call this meeting to order. This is the quarterly meeting of the Educational Broadcasting Authority. I'm Bill Fowle, the chairman, and we do have a quorum present. What I would like to do starting out is, going to my left, I'd like for each person sitting at the So, Mike, if you would begin.
Mike Farrell, Huntington.
Greg Thomas, South Charleston.
Danielle Wald, South Charleston.
Taylor Hood from Huntington.
Carol Road Truck, Morgantown.
Frank Wood, Daniels. Butch Antolini, Red House.
Christine Todd, Dunbar.
Randall Reed Smith, Barbersville. The best place on God's green earth.
Nancy White, Berkeley Springs, I would not agree.
Tim Conzet with the Department of Education.
Thank you. And I'm from Beckley, since we have South Charleston well represented and other communities. What we'll do, we'll follow an agenda that was previously sent to at least the members of the authority. We're going to move the report from the Friends of West Virginia Public Broadcasting, Brian Gallagher, down until Brian gets here. He called me while I was on the turnpike, and he was just leaving his office. He had an earlier commitment, so I told him we would adjust the agenda for him. And starting out, the first matter I wanted to mention, item number 2, is the approval of minutes. We are not going to approve the minutes today. I've asked Carol Roadtruck to assist in working on these minutes. They're being revised. They will be presented at the next meeting when we do the minutes for this meeting also. So there'll be no minutes to be voted upon or approved today. And the next item would be item number 3, which is the EBA financials, and Tammy Treadway.
Good morning. You should have the financial report there in front of you. This is as of August 31st. You'll see that we ended the month of August with $12,896,312 in cash. $7.5 million of that cash is dedicated for the network upgrade. Part of that's the FCC reimbursement. Going down at the revenues, you'll see that we have anticipated another $500,000 this year from the FCC on reimbursements. We're just wrapping up the end of the project. We should receive $1.2 million from CPB, and that first payment usually doesn't come in until November. Last year, we did receive a $20,000 grant for something else from CPB. The PBS and NPR, that's mainly the money we get from NPR for Mountain Stage Carriage. For state government, it looks like we spent more last year in the first 2 months than we have this year, but we had some money for capital projects that was reappropriated from FY19. We did get a small increase in our appropriation that covered the pay raises. Other than that, it's exactly the same. If you look at underwriting, we've projected more this year than we did last year, with things settling back down after COVID and more business picking up. We're up from where we were this time last year in membership. If you look down to other income, grants and leases, there's a significant decline in the first 2 months this year from last year. And I can tell you that that's from the MACP grant. Last year, we received $400,000 in July. And the first payment on that for the second year of the grant is $300,000, and that should come in October. When you look down at operating expenses, you'll see our largest expense is salary and benefits. And we have a small increase there, and that just is a result of filling some vacancies that we had. Contract and professional, we've increased the budget for this because there's a lot of things that need to happen with network upgrades, and we do use an engineering firm, and we use the FCC attorneys a lot. You'll look and see one of our larger expenses is program rental. We're down from where we were this time last year, but that just is a result of fluctuation in billing and pay. That should equal out at the end of the year. I did want to mention when I went over this morning, to my horror, I had made a mistake on hospitality for last year. It looks like we threw a giant party. I added 55 to this beginning of that, so I will send out a revised report. So that will result in the expenses being $55,000 less and the operating revenue being $55,000 more.
So what is the correct number on that? 6,398?
Yes, ma'am.
550,000, not 50,000, right, Tammy? 550,000? Yeah, okay.
Big party list. Are there any questions?
Does anybody have any questions of Tammy? If not, thank you, Tammy, and I would ask if we could have a motion to accept the report by Tammy.
Move.
Second?
Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, that report is accepted. The next item on the agenda, we will jump down to number 5, actually, and go to the West Virginia Public Broadcasting Foundation report. Ted Armbrecht is out of town today, so he will not be joining us. Mike Farrell is here. Mike is going to be chairing the meeting today and for the foundation, which will occur at 12:30. Mike, do you have a report to give or anything Ted asked you to speak about?
A couple things. We are in the process of sort of doing an internal review of all systems for the foundation. I met with Marilyn this morning, and we've agreed upon a list of documents that she's going to provide. My anticipation is that we will call the foundation board together sometime in the next couple of months and go through the system to assure ourselves that all things are compliant with state law, as well as just basic operating procedures. I have personally been involved with the Marshall Foundation and with other foundations and have some experience of how you do what you do with a foundation. And in asking questions this morning, there's a lot of paper that needs to be reviewed, and I want to make sure that everybody who's on the foundation board and this board ultimately will get a written report, sort of the state of the affairs for the foundation, so that you can take comfort as to where we are. Ted is in Massachusetts and will not be with us today. But I think there's also a possibility that Ted may retire sometime soon. And we want to make sure as we transition the leadership in this organization that everybody knows what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where it's going. So I have accepted the challenge as the vice chairman to go through that process and make sure that everybody on this board is satisfied with where we are and where we're going to be.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions of Mike? And we certainly appreciate your stepping up there. Look forward to working with you and the foundation closely. And Ted has done a great job as our chair. He has certainly kept an eye on it. And, Ted believes in public broadcasting. If everybody felt the same way as Ted, we'd be in great shape as far as supporting public broadcasting. That will take us down to old business. Brian hasn't arrived yet, so we'll skip his report. But under old business, I do not have any old business to bring up. Does anybody else have any? I know Danielle is going to speak briefly about the Mountain Stage 40th anniversary, if you'd like to do it now.
Sure. Our committee convened this morning, and we have a very enthusiastic committee. We have settled on a spot for the 40th anniversary event, which will be at JQ Dickinson. We are working on finalizing dates between either, looks like we're looking at either September 13th, 23, or September 27th, 23. We hope to get that nailed down today. We're working on a sponsorship structure, and we'll have a preliminary meeting with the folks out at JQ Dickinson soon. But the hope is to be able to raise enough money to pay for 3 pieces of equipment. So we're looking at something in the neighborhood of $120,000 with the event. And very excited about it, a lot of enthusiasm around it. And if anybody wants to get involved, we would welcome your participation.
So,
Danielle.
what will the fundraiser include? I mean, is it a dinner? Is it a show?
Well, we
Is it
haven't nailed down, like, we're about a year away, so I don't think we've nailed down all the final details, but I think what we envision is having a nice, like, sort of farm-to-table meal with some sort of musical entertainment, and that's what we're looking at. And perhaps with the ability to honor people, whether the band and the Kathy and Larry, and I mean, we could talk about what other people we may want to honor, but that's what we're looking at. So I think a nice farm-to-table dinner and some musical entertainment and an opportunity to really celebrate the anniversary. So that's the vision, and as we get those items nailed down, we're hopeful to price the ticket price enough to cover the cost of the event, and then look at the sponsorship dollars as being sort of what we view as what we will take in.
Danielle, how many are roughly on your committee right now?
7.
Okay, good.
So we have a good group, but we will welcome additional people if you would like to participate. So, and we also welcome suggestions on people that we can solicit for money.
Fair enough. Thank you, Danielle, and thank you for taking on the challenge here. We're going to jump right back into our agenda. I see Brian Gallagher has arrived. Before he gets comfortable there, we're going to ask him to give his report on the Friends of West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry I was late. I got called into the office for some emergency this morning, so I had to take care of that before I came down here. I'll be brief because I know Butch is going to talk about a lot of stuff and probably give more specifics. But we've had our elections, and so we've got a few new board members. We'll be having an orientation for them to get them up to speed and keeping with the things that we've talked about in the past, and making sure that people know how the organization operates, and so they can be good advocates for public broadcasting. They'll also be getting committee appointments, and so as I said before, everyone on the Friends Board will be on at least one committee to get to know the organization better and be able to be representatives of us and to build bench strength so we can have people move into leadership positions as time goes by. And the other important thing about that is now that we're staffed up, we'll be able to, those committees will be able to provide guidance to staff and to support staff with different things that they're trying to do, different initiatives they're trying to take on. We sponsored a picnic for staff, and I think that went well. I was able to be there briefly for a little bit of time, but I mean, we can ask other people around here to find out how they thought it went. And we also are buying fleeces for everybody that was attendance to the picnic, so trying to help people feel real good about the organization. We've had a number of 10% requests that we've been able to fund. I think Butch will probably go into some more detail, but we've been able to get some training for a lot of the new staff, provide some money for people to go receive awards that they've worked hard to be able to get. We've been able to provide some emergency equipment to keep Mountain Stage stuff on air. Adam's got some funny stories about it that weren't very funny at the time, but they're pretty funny now. We've also started an initiative to send out to a lot of the fairs and festivals around the state to get the word out. And so we're buying tents and signage and handouts and things to get people around there to get our name out, in keeping with what our mission is to increase membership and decrease funding for Friends of Public Broadcasting. And we're also going to have some money, I think, to do additional programming. So some of the people that are really creative people, hopefully we'll have money to be able to put aside for help them with some of those things. And that's my brief report. There's a lot of other things going on, but you'll hear more from Butch, but I'll be trying to answer any questions if you have any.
Does anybody have any questions of Brian? If not, thank you, Brian. Appreciate you being here and giving the report.
Absolutely.
Is there any other old business anyone at the table would like to bring up, or anyone on the screen? Does anybody have any old business? Apparently not, so we will then move into new business. I do not have any new business to present. Does anyone else have any new business that they would like to bring up? I'll ask. Randall, do you have anything that, under new business, or anything needs to be brought up?
I'm fine,
Okay.
thank you.
Well, the next item on the agenda will be the report by our Executive Director, Butch Antolini. Today, we are changing the format a little bit. We're going to, and have asked Butch to give us one report. He's going to give it today. It'll be a thorough report. We're not asking him to repeat the entire report when we have the foundation meeting, which occurs at 12:30. We felt time efficiency experts would probably question the way we were doing that. So this way, and we have invited members of the foundation to either come in person today or to call in or to Zoom in, so that they will be able to get Butch's full report. Butch, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this will be the last time I'll remind you how long I've been here, but in 6 weeks, it'll have been a year. And that's just, I mean, the time has flown by. But what I'd like to do is, can all the members of the staff that are in the room, would you please stand up for me? Okay. Can all the members of the staff that weren't here when I came into the building please sit down? Okay, these are the folks that were here. Of the folks that were here, both Liz and Eric have taken on new positions. If you would sit down, everyone that's been employed since I got here, would you please stand up? These are new members of our staff, and what I'd like to tell you all is on July the 18th, we became full. We started back in October, and we had a number of vacancies, and the vacancies multiplied, but we finally became whole on July 18th when Chris Barnard, who is our new director of video production, started. And, it's allowed us to get to a point where we're starting to progress now. And I just wanted you to see the faces that are in the building. You've met them during the last meetings. You all can take a seat now, but we become whole now. And in less than a month, we will be meeting the directors of West Virginia Public Broadcasting's divisions. We'll be meeting, and we'll begin our strategic planning. And I'm going to start this morning with Eddie Isom, our COO, and Eddie just returned along with Adam Harris from Mountain Stage, just returned from the Public Radio Program Directors Annual Conference. And I would like Eddie to tell you a little bit about that and what he's learned from that meeting. I think it backs up what I told you at the last meeting about how things are starting to transition in this day and age, and what actual broadcasting means anymore. And I'd like Eddie to give you a brief report on that, and then on your department, if you would, Eddie.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, we all know, because we're all consumers of media, that there's a digital transformation that's happening. Things are moving away from terrestrial broadcast, and everything's moving online. And that was talked about a lot at this conference. So what we've got to do is determine what that means for the future of public broadcasting. So we know, because of resources, we can't be everywhere. So we've got to make sense of the digital platforms that are out there when it comes to radio and television programming, to make sure we're at the places where people expect us to be. And so when we approach that, we can't do it in ways of being somewhere and expecting someone to find us. We have to know what the consumer is using platforms for and determine which ones make sense for public broadcasting. One of the big pushes for radio is that many people, show of hands, who has an actual radio in their home now? Exactly. So radio, terrestrial radio is still very popular in the car during drive time. But the big push for radio is going to be just reminding people that they can use their mobile phone to listen to West Virginia Public Broadcasting. We're going to start an on-air campaign in a few weeks, just reminding people. And there are many ways you can do that on your phone. We have our own app. You can use the built-in app. You can use Spotify, et cetera. And then, you know, the on-demand podcast, all of our programs are like that right now, but we just need to start reminding people that we're there. That way, we know the consumers are using us that way. We just need to remind them that's where we are. Christy has worked on a lot of great things, putting QR codes on our materials that we take out, where people can just snap it with their phone and make contributions to West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Television is probably going through a quicker transformation than radio, as we all know. I think everybody here uses streaming services, right? Yeah, so that's the other way to watch West Virginia Public Broadcasting. And we've just got to, again, remind our members more so that we are there. And so, because in West Virginia, trends usually fall behind the rest of the nation, we know that broadcast is going to be a staple here for a little while, but we also know the future is coming. So we're just making sure that we're on top of the transformation, making sure that we're in the areas where we need to be in order to serve the community with all of the programming that we offer. So that's basically what we're doing right now. Any questions?
Good job, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thank you for being over here. Thank you for being over here yesterday and helping us out.
You're welcome.
To follow Eddie up, I would like Liz McCormick to get up and speak. Liz is our webmaster and our digital content coordinator. And, you know, we're in the process of transitioning a lot of things, including our website. So Liz, if you could update the board on where we are, please.
Certainly. Good morning, everyone. I'll first start off by just piggybacking off of Eddie a little bit, because I also went to a pre-conference workshop ahead of PRPD, and it was digital content focused. And Eddie is completely right. That is where we need to be thinking, is digital first. One of the things in that workshop that was discussed was think audience, and you always want to go where your audience is going, as Eddie pointed out, you know, meeting them where they are. And so at that workshop, we discussed a lot about ways of, you know, putting ourselves in digital spaces. And not everything we do for public broadcasting may not necessarily work well on one platform versus another. For example, you know, some of our content might work great on Facebook or great on Instagram, and may not work as well for, you know, on the website specifically or in radio or television. So anyway, it's about thinking, you know, being versatile and flexible and thinking about where the content will live best and reach the right audience you're trying to target. That's the thing about digital, is that it's very targeted, it's very intentional, and it's very personal. You know, as we're looking for our content now, we go and seek it out rather than turning the dial on. It's usually in the background if we're listening to radio or TV at home. So that's kind of where we have to think. For the website, that has been going really well. We're on track for the new website launch by the end of the year. we've been working with Digital Relativity, a local West Virginia organization that's been fabulous to work with. Very great collaborator. Right now, we have approved the wireframing process for the website, which means like, you know, how it's going to function, where things will link, where things will go. And at this stage, we are working through the design phase. So our recent meeting, we meet with them usually Thursday mornings, and our most recent meeting, we went through each of the main pages on the new website for like news, TV, radio, and we, you know, just looked through how they were presenting it in both a desktop format and a mobile format, because mobile is hugely important now. Another thing that we're doing with the new website is WVPB Education department. Maggie Hawley, that department is going to be taking a much more prominent role on the new website. The goal with that is to make people more aware that the education we provide is not just PBS kids, that we also offer adult education. We offer resources for, you know, all age groups. And so that's kind of what we're hoping with that new page. And the new website also, the idea of it is to make, it's sleek, it's looking really nice. It's more of a simple design. It'll be easier for people to find what they're looking for when they visit our new website. And then the last digital update I have for you, we've been working with Studio Mesh, which is based here in Charleston. They have been a fabulous partner in terms of just thinking differently about social media use. So the thing we've been working on with them specifically is the Inside Appalachia Folkways project. And that we created an Inside Appalachia Instagram that has seen a lot of traction. In fact, I have a number here if you're interested in it. In the last 28 days, we saw reach increase by more than 116% compared to the previous 28 days on that Instagram. Now, we don't have a ton of followers on that account yet because it is still new, but we're still seeing engagement. We're seeing more podcast downloads, as Americo will get in when he starts talking about that project. So it's working. And the other nice thing about Studio Mesh working with them is while we're focused on Folkways with them, what they are bringing to us can translate to all of the digital platforms we use, which is something I have been thinking about with them as well. So that is my digital report. Thank you very much. Any questions? Sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Marilyn, would you like to give us an update on development?
Yes, I will.
We just wrapped up TV Pledge. We had similar results to what we had last year, but we had fewer minutes dedicated to Pledge. So that's an up for us, and we'll take it. We had Radio Pledge begins Friday, September the 9th. And if you're up and you want to tune in, you'll hear yours truly and Chairman Antolini pitching to the masses. So that'll run through the 17th, and Eddie and I will finish. So it ought to be a good fun drive. And if you, I know we've had a lapsed member campaign and an additional gift campaign in the mail, but if it just didn't hit you yet, you can always call in your pledge. That's why we do them all around. So wherever you aren't, we'll grab you somewhere you are. So we are looking for a formal notification from the Neighborhood Investment Program. We've tentatively been told that we got about 3 times the money that we got last year, but we got such little amount of money last year. Not a lot to brag about. It's, I think it'll be around $15,000, but it's already, more than half of it's already spoken for. So, you know, you got to ask early or there won't be any more.
It's for new contributions.
No, it's not for we never get enough to do that. We tried to do that initially, but then when the people come on as a new contribution, they want to have it. They want to have it the next year too. So we haven't been able to do that. We like to ask people if you want to upgrade a little bit. Say if you have a Studio Society member that's giving the nominal studio, it's not a nominal pledge, but the nominal amount to be in the Studio Society. If you upgrade that by $500 and then you do it all in a neighborhood investment program thing, you have saved yourself $250 because the tax credit comes in and takes care of that. But you must make at least a $500 one-time contribution, so it lets all of our sustainers out. And we have some people that have participated forever. I'm looking around here in this room, and we thank them. But it's a very, very competitive program, and that's a good thing because there's a lot of nonprofits helping communities. We have also, one thing we've done, and I have to give Kathleen Brady real kudos for this, we further segmented our Passport Picks program. So we've been working with a new vendor, and they've been really working with Kathleen about how to get the most from our database. Our database is our gold mine. So now there's not just looking at people who like to watch Passport, but we're looking at people who are active users, eligible users, and there's a difference there. Not everybody that's eligible to get it asks for it. And then also lapsed users. So there's targeted emails going to those three separate groups, and then we're going to do that. Then we're going to see what that brought us. Underwriting is holding its own. Even with one thing that we noticed in membership, we were getting more than usual cancellations, you know, and we're like, what is this? And it's inflation. People are calling and saying, you know, I'm on a fixed income, I'm not sure. And so what they have assured us, and that's where the strength of our member services people, and Angela's so good at this, when you can, please come back. And they will, you know, they've assured us. We are, let's see, more focus is on digital. We're sending Annie for, if the friends give us our 10% request today, to virtual training on how to sell more digital packages and things, because we know that's moving. And of course, you know, Danielle Walks is handling the Mountain Stage, so we're looking forward to that. That brings me to our latest addition to the staff that you might have seen when she stood up, Christy Morey, and she has been our, like the Energizer Bunny, going out around the state, seeing people, and thanks to the friends, we have outfitted her with to give to others with what's needed. We've added a few things when we've worked events. We really need to have this, but we think it's all pretty much inclusive now. We're going to ask for a restock of items. But I'd like to turn this over to Christy so she can tell you herself.
Thank you, Marilyn.
You're welcome.
And I'll be brief, but thank you, and thank you, Brian, and thank you to the friends for all of their support. So just sort of an update of what we've been doing with that support. So gosh, Butch asked me the other day, he said, so how's your summer been? But we've had a great time. So we've attended events in Charleston, Parkersburg, Clarksburg, Wheeling. We've worked with several friends, board members who have come out and actually helped us and been on hand. And so that's been just a joy. And I wish 10% funds could produce another Eddie Isom, because he's been our man in a clutch. But we've also had several staff members step up and help as well. So thank you.
We take a roll call on that.
Couple of the things we do hand out and what we talk about at our tables, so we're set up. And what we have learned and what you already know is that we have so many friends across the state. And they love public broadcasting, and they love to come and tell you how much they love public broadcasting. These are hand fans. At our outdoor events, they have been a blessing to a lot of folks. And so this is what we've been handing out. These are listener and viewer guides. These have been really handy and really popular. I like to tell people, especially the listening guide, you know, when you're traveling around the state and you're like, where's my public broadcasting station? I say, keep this in the glove box. And so we've been handing those out. And then, thanks to Butch, we connected with Berkeley Springs Water, and we created Logos Water. As Eddie mentioned, these do have QR codes, which take you not only to the website, but also to some fundraising opportunities. So what we've brought today, an update for October. So October 1st, the Beckley team and Eddie will be at the Chili Fest in downtown Beckley. We will also be at the West Virginia Wine and Jazz Festival, which is outside of Morgantown. On October 8th, we'll be at the West Virginia State Forest Festival in Elkins. On October 15th, we'll be on the bridge at Bridge Day. So I'm really excited about that. We'll be working with the education team and joining them at the Book Festival, October 21st through 22nd here in Charleston. And then we're also going to participate, I think for the first time maybe, in the Charleston Holiday Parade. So we're excited about that as well. What we're offering today is a list, and I'll let you take one, pass it around, of what we're proposing for 2023. What I would encourage you to do is read through that list, and if there's something that you're thinking like, oh my gosh, they're missing the boat, they should be here. Please contact Marilyn or myself or Butch or Eddie, anyone, and just kind of let us know. Our goal is in the coming year, and it's an aggressive goal, is to touch most of all of our 55 counties, whether it be physically in place at an event, or we know that through Maggie's work, they really fill a lot of the gaps, touching a lot of the other counties. So collectively, we hope to touch everyone in some way.
Would you, I know that you talked about some of the different places that we've been. Give them the quick rundown.
Sure.
On where we have been this summer.
We started out, when I came on board, we attended Vandalia on the Capitol grounds. And then we went to the Charleston Regatta. So hopefully a lot of you got to participate in that. We were part of the team at Magic Island, which provided children's programming, children's engagement. So Maggie and her team were instrumental in that. And some of the pictures, that's the most colorful setup we've had because, again, you feature all the PBS characters. We had a great time. We went to Wheeling to the Italian Heritage Festival. We went to Commissioner. We saw you at the Appalachian String Band Festival in Cliff Top, and that was a great time. Parkersburg, we were at the Parkersburg Homecoming. This past weekend, we were in Clarksburg at their Italian Heritage Festival. And I have to say, they have a bigger Italian Heritage Festival than Wheeling does, but both were incredibly enjoyable. So that's just a few of the things we've been doing.
Butch.
Yes, sir.
So we can provide you with a complete list of all the fairs and festivals in the state. And you can look at that and try to hit all 55 counties, okay?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Chairman, I have to leave. We have a very full schedule here. I'm so sorry, but thank you for these wonderful 40 minutes with my friends all gathered around. Have a great meeting. If anybody needs anything, please call me. Thank you.
Thank you, Randall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Thank you, Christy. I think what I'd like to do now is move on to our education director, and Maggie Holly. Do we have her PowerPoint set up?
Yeah.
Maggie,
Yeah, I did a PowerPoint. I was in education. I'm still in education, so I can't do anything. I have a piece of paper. I sent him both. He wanted a report, and it's just plain, and it's on paper, and we've been doing these, and I just stand up here and talk. I was like, can I just do a PowerPoint? It looks so much better. I have to say, whenever you were talking about how long we've been here and how long you've been here, I started in January, and I still feel like it's just been a couple weeks. This job is the best. I mean, I have been a teacher, I have been a principal, and those are fantastic, and I love them. But I'm having the best time just getting to go out and work with all of the educators and work with all these people here and getting to see all these children around the state. It is the best. I have the best job, and I still feel like I've only been here a few weeks.
There it is.
I have a PowerPoint just to show you whenever I first started working, Butch asked me to get the word out, because that's the biggest thing that I heard was people don't know the things that we do in the education department. They know about the radio, they know about the television, but the education department was like, we'll do. And now it's flipped, and we have people calling us, and our schedule is booked. We are so busy. Get it? Yeah. Yeah. So it is easier if I show you in pictures than me just saying it, because it will not show you how fabulous it has been. We have been all over the state working with amazing people. And there's just a little bit of it. The partnerships just keep coming and coming. You can see there, we have worked with the CTE schools, and that's one of the things that Bush has asked us to do. He said, get out and talk to the future educators. So I have seven different colleges this fall that I'm going to be going out and doing presentations for.
Why don't you give them the rundown on that? Just give them a little more detail on where you're going to be.
I think it's in the last.
You've contacted, okay, it's in the last, because you've contacted them all.
I contacted every college that has an education program. And so far, a lot of them contacted me back but said, let me get the semester kind of started. But so far, I have 7 appointments this fall. I have a few more in the spring. I think it's on the last slide. You'll be able to see some of the college listings there. So the picture there in the bottom left, you can see that's us at over the summer, the CTE schools all got together. That is one of the best times is whenever they have professional development, because they're all in one spot instead of going. But then when we were there, they invited us to come individually. So we've also went to places like Ben Franklin for their CTE programs. So now, instead of us contacting them, they're starting to contact us to come, and our schedule is getting very booked up. We were at Arts Day at the Capitol. That's me and Eddie. We've been spending a lot of time down in McDowell County, for example, working. We've made great partnerships with Save the Children and the Mountaineer Food Bank. Mountaineer Food Bank has a pilot program they're doing with DoorDash. You know how you can order food with DoorDash? Well, they're doing families who need food, and they're actually DoorDashing the food. Well, one of the things they asked us is to fill those DoorDash boxes with educational materials. And so that has been a really fantastic partnership for us. And we have filled so many bags of educational materials to put in those boxes for needy families all over the county, all over the state. And so that is, working with Save the Children and then Mountaineer Food Bank has been a fantastic partnership for us. So we've been spending a lot of time down in McDowell County, Boone County. We've got the fantastic opportunity to work with West Virginia AFT. That is a location that, again, all the teachers in one place. We presented with their professional development, and it went so well that they've asked us to come back again. So that was their summer professional development there up in the top corner, and we're coming back to their fall professional development. So it's going very well to where they're asking us to come back. We are teaching in a lot of places. Counties have been saying, so do you come into our, you can come into our classrooms? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, how much does it cost? And I'm like, it's free. We'll come for free. And so that piece is going very, very well. We're very excited to come out and go into classrooms. We also go into a lot of libraries. We did every Monday at the new library here in Kanawha County, and that got us a lot of exposure, and a lot of people, didn't even know that we did things like that. So the libraries that we couldn't get to, we created a program called Connect and Create, and libraries from all across the state sent us the link that we sent out to them, and we get a flash drive and we load shows and activities and stories and all kinds of things that will last half of a year. And we send them out to them and they can do those activities. And then when they're done with them, they send it back and we reload it with new activities. So we just piloted that program and we sent out for 12 libraries across the state. So the ones we can't travel to all the time, we've been sending resources out to those libraries. We got to work with Daniel Tiger, the state treasurer's office. It's a great partnership for us, and we just renewed our Above and Beyond program. I will pass these cards out to you guys. We will be starting this month in September, and the nominations for teachers increased greatly this past year, and so we're looking forward to that program. We did a summer event with Daniel Tiger, and it was crowded. We think there was about 300 people that came through to get their picture taken with Daniel Tiger. We're excited about working with the state treasurer again, and we were happy that they renewed that.
I know you all know that Daniel Tiger is the most popular figure on PBS Kids now, but it's quite a task just to get that little costume and outfit. Believe that or not, it's a task, and yeah. Yep.
The costume is, yeah.
But it's so popular. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, it really brings people out. So.
But this event also landed. We got a phone call for the West Virginia Book Festival that's coming up, and they have asked us to not only be a part of that, but we're going to lead the costume parade this year. So we have several characters. The creator of Arthur is going to be there at the book festival. So we're going to have an Arthur costume, and his best friend Buster is going to be there. And then you'll see some of us dressed up like our friend Eddie is going to be the man in the yellow hat with Curious George, and I'm going to be Pink Delicious, and my assistant is going to be Peg and Cat. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're so happy. The last meeting, we were right in the middle of finishing up our writers contest, and we did that, and the winner there, you can see her in the picture, she had a blast, and we had more fun, I think, than her. I was going to show you the video, but they said it doesn't show very well over Teams, so.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know, I wanted everybody to see it, because it is excellent, but they said that it doesn't show.
It doesn't play very well.
But I can email it out, I can send it, and then we can send it out, because the final cut of that video, it's not very long, but it is hilarious. So I can have it emailed out to everybody. We have also, on top of all of that traveling, we have been busy grant writing. Me and Americo have just been grant writing. We wrote one for the Benedum Foundation. We'll find out about that later this month. But we also won, we were granted one through Maryland Public Television. We are going to be working with high schools in the state, and we will be doing a special viewing at West Virginia State and Glenville College for 2 new documentaries, one there on Harriet Tubman and the other one on Frederick Douglass. And so we're going to have some discussion panels after those documentaries, and we'll be bringing together those young voices from the high schools with older voices from the community and the colleges. So that's going to be a really wonderful opportunity. I'm excited about working on that. And there's a list I could show you. These are all of our events just through December, so not even into winter and next spring. So many events, my weeks are booked and booked and booked. So there's some of the colleges and events that we have coming up. We're doing the the Reading Association, we're presenting at their conference. Elementary and Middle School Principals Association, we have all of those. I didn't even list all of the colleges there. The Library Association, we're presenting at their conference. We have a new Inquire Within library out of Jackson County. So there's going to be a lot of traveling. Jumpstart, which is Read for the Record, is coming up in October, and I also copied these for everybody. We would love for you to participate. It is very easy. There's a QR code for you to scan, and we will mail you your book, and you can go to any location you'd like to read that. I would like all the books to be used this year, so we have no leftovers. So if you have a particular school or a library or a daycare or anything that you'd like to go in and read that book, we will mail that book to you. We have the books we checked, and they will, but we ordered them as soon as the ordering was available, and they said that it would be mailed out, I think, in September. So anytime now they should be here.
Do you have a collaboration with the Valley Park and that series from Is that a possibility?
We do. We actually we do work very closely with them, and we're going to be working with the Read Aloud, West Virginia Read Aloud.
Put that on my list.
Yes.
What about the Public Education Collaborative? Are you connected with them at all? Do you know about them?
Yeah, I think I've received a phone call with them. Yeah.
All right.
Are there any questions? I know that was a lot. We're in a lot of stuff, which is good thing. That's what you asked me to do.
That's right.
Better to have a lot.
Yeah, I think honestly we're gonna get to a point where I have to start saying no because my calendar is gonna be so full, which is, I mean,
Good thing.
I'll just have to say, I need another staff member.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Tyler Garner, our chief engineer, has been very busy. I think that from the last meeting, we talked about our theft up at Garfield Street and the copper theft that took place up there. And I'm pleased to tell you that I'm sure he's heard enough from me about it, and it's been taken care of up there, and it has really led us into where we need to go with our equipment and maintenance upgrades that we'll be undertaking over the next 2 to 5 years. He's got a very aggressive schedule, but Tyler, if you could talk a little bit about Garfield Street and then the rest of your near-term schedule, because if we talked about everything, we'd be here for another hour. So I've asked him to go 5 minutes, and if you have questions, we can go from there. So do you have your?
Yeah, I've got some pictures.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Anlidi, Mr. File, sorry to interrupt, but before he gets started, I just wanted to let you know that I need to leave the video portion, but I'm going to keep you in my ear as I go get in the car. I have another appointment I have to get to as well, so I'll still be with you.
Thank you very much.
Randy,
Appreciate
controlling it.
It's not a PowerPoint. Hey, Randy, I got this. No, maybe. Does our mouse work?
No, I was
Maybe not.
using the arrow keys
May I
earlier.
have to show you photos later. Well, as Butch said, we have been very, very busy across multiple fronts. I believe, a final count of sites that we have across the state. We have 27 sites that are active. We do have a few more sites that are inactive that are still waiting to be cleaned out. But that is quite a large amount of sites for a very small group of engineers and IT personnel. Hats off to my team. There's no way I could do what I do without them. They're incredibly smart. They know quite a bit the system that's here. They've brought me up to speed on a lot of it, and we're kind of just working through piece by piece what needs to be brought up to spec. Garfield Phase 1 is complete. We've added security cameras up there, replaced a lot of the grounding, everything from regrading, concrete, tree removal, you name it, it's being done up there. These are some of the before photos that we've got. This is the front entrance of Garfield where you normally would walk in. If you see there on the right, that's actually a step, and then to the left there, in that photo, it's a little dark, there's a generator. There's about 1.5 feet of space between there. Made it quite enjoyable to walk in there when it was rainy and muddy. And if you keep going ahead there, you can see some of the tree overgrowth that we were dealing with. We're about 1/2 foot from actually touching the tower with a lot of those trees. And any one of those trees could have easily damaged our tower, and that's hundreds of thousands of dollars to get repaired. And so you want to keep going through those photos. That's our generator, which there are 2 generators. We do share that site with Homeland Security. So it is a very crucial site to our entire system. It actually handles central and northern districts. So this site is at the heart of our transmission signal. That's kind of a wide shot to give you kind of a look at what it used to look like up there. And then in another folder called After, Randy, there's I got a few more photos. This is what it looks like now. We've buried that copper well over 2 feet in the ground. It's not coming out this time. We sealed it in concrete and lots of it. So you may not see it there, but it is very well buried and protected. I get an alert on my phone the moment somebody touches foot on that property. If I don't get there first, the cops likely will. So we've poured concrete all around the generator. All the copper is buried underneath the concrete or surrounded in it. We had 2 major lightning strikes a couple weeks prior to actually installing it. There's just a few photos of around the building to get an idea of kind of what it looks like now, but it's much more enjoyable to walk up there. My contractors love it because they're not playing in mud every time they got to service something.
What did it cost to secure that area?
I want to say in the neighborhood of, $200, maybe a little bit higher than that.
And we're waiting on Brim for reimbursement. So, and that's another discussion.
Well, but that's not for the cement, that's just for the reimbursement for the copper theft.
It's for the reimbursement of the copper theft, but, to secure that location, that's part of our maintenance upgrades that we're in the process of. And he'll go ahead and talk to you about what the plans are for our other tower sites as well, because what you see here at Garfield is repeated in various stages of repair, of disrepair across the state. But he's the expert, and I'm not.
So now you can kind of see up here, we've got almost a 4-foot wide entrance section now, so we can actually transport material through our gates. Scared the hill from falling away, so our satellite dish doesn't fall away with it, which is important. A lot of people like to listen to radio. In the process of cleaning up this site, hats off to Pillar, our contracting group that handled a lot of this work. They fought through more poison ivy and poison oak than we thought was up there. And so they were a massive help in getting this accomplished in the timeline that I had desired to get it accomplished. There are still other things we need to do to this site. We will be doing some upgrades on the building, cleaning it up a little bit more, and kind of just finalizing it over the next couple months. But overall, the site is now secure and operating as it should. This is going to be kind of our example site of what all of our sites will eventually look like. It may not all have concrete, but it will be held to this standard as we progress through all of our sites. We are a very small staff handling 27 sites, and in lieu of that, we were able to hire on a new engineer up in our northern sector. His name's Kurt Hans. He has been a great addition to our team. He's helping Art out quite a bit, and I'm very pleased to have him on board. Any more engineers I can get on board or IT personnel, I would jump at that heartbeat. So that has been a great addition to our northern sector. We have 15 sites just in the north, between two people. So over the next year and a half, we are boosting our monitoring to cut down downtimes and hopefully respond quicker to quite a few of our outages that we may run into, whether that be weather related or old gear that has said its final goodbye. And that's kind of just an overlook at Garfield. I could, as Butch said, keep going on for.
Tyler, have any arrests been made on that?
There was one arrest made on the highway, I believe, a couple weeks, if not a month ago. My days kind of run together now. We are unsure as to whether or not if that was the same person involved with these sites. But to my knowledge, not anyone directly related to these sites.
I've had numerous conversations with the chief of police, Chief Hunt from Charleston, because this is within the city limits and it's their investigation. And as you know, Mr. Chairman, I was instructed by the executive committee to reach out to Jeff Sandy at the Department of Military Affairs and Public Safety, and to Jan Cahill, who's the superintendent of the state police. I've done that. They're involved in it. At this juncture, as he told you, there hasn't been an arrest made, but we're clearly interested in it, and as you know, we intend to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law, because the damages, are into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's where that stands right now.
Thank you.
There are two more points that I will quickly make. We've made quite a few safety improvements around 600 Capitol Street. You may notice some of them, you may not notice others. We've repaired quite a few of the ceilings that have sagged over time or risk of falling, so those have all been repaired. We've placed carpet on certain areas to prevent trip hazards, and we're currently working on our parking lot and shoring it up to get a few more years out of the asphalt. Also, my IT team has been incredible. They helped not only pull off our Dolly event with our engineers and moving the lottery from satellite communication to all of the stations that receive it into LTM Global, which is our new IP communication. It is the industry standard. We're seeing it across the country now for well over 5 years. They've had zero downtime in 14 years of operation. So we hope to boost our lottery reliability so that we have very few downtimes with that particular program in the evening. We've seen great success with that, but again, could not have pulled it off without our team. So the applause goes to them for sure. So, and that's my answer. Any questions?
I would like to say one thing. Tyler has a lot of projects that I put on his back from the beginning, and sometimes, you rub people the wrong way, and a lot of people, get their feelings hurt, and he's a big enough boy where he can take it, and I would like to give him a lot of credit for that, because I know that a lot of people in the organization, he makes them mad sometimes, but that's okay. He does his job, and that's and it's very, very important to our future. We don't have tower sites that work, or don't have a broadcast that goes out, and we're out of business. And what he does is really important. So everybody that gets upset, and he upsets me sometimes too, they're just going to have to take it. So I did want to say that. Thank you. Adam, give us the latest on Mountain Stage and your trip to PRPD, if you will.
Yeah, I can be brief. The Friends Board, thanks to them, we were able to take several folks down to PRPD, including Eddie, Bill, and Bob. from public broadcasting and also from the Mountain Stage team, Jeff and Mallory, John, and myself went down, and we kind of introduced Kathy Mattea to the stations down there. Huge brand awareness down there because of the sponsorship we were able to purchase with the help of the Friends. We were a bronze sponsorship, and so at the beginning of every single session throughout the conference, they thanked Mountain Stage, big logo up on the screen throughout the entire conference. We've sponsored 2 networking breaks during the conference. The first was just kind of a meet and greet with Kathy. We had a lot of interested stations come up. Carrying stations came up and got to meet Kathy, and some of the folks from NPR got some FaceTime with Kathy as well. And that was really what it was about, saying thank you to all the stations that have picked us up over the last couple of years. We've had insane growth over the last 2 years. And so mainly just to get Kathy's name out there as our way of saying thank you and introduce her to those stations. And then the afternoon session, we brought in Lily Lewis, who's a performer who's going to be airing as part of our fall season that starts actually this Friday across the country. Brand new episodes are hitting the airwaves, including one that has Lily Lewis. She's a New Orleans musician. And so we were able to, of course, bring some live music into the conference, which was greatly appreciated by those who chose to participate in it, I think. And there was a second line parade, which is a tradition in New Orleans that was sponsored by PRX, and Kathy Mattea was up front throughout all of that. So nobody that was paying attention would say Kathy was a stiff at this conference. She had a blast, represented us very well, and really got into the spirit of the conference and of New Orleans. And we're already looking ahead to next season's PRPD, which is in Philadelphia. And I think there's some good possibility for collaboration there. WXPN is the station in Philly. It'll no doubt be an XPN heavy conference, and they're one of our oldest affiliates and our largest market as well. And so I feel like there's some potential for us to partner in next year's PRPD as well, should the Friends Board choose to help support that as well. Yes.
Have you seen any growth yet from radio stations?
Well, so that was a question that Butch had for me, and the folks at NPR are really good about letting me know, hey, this person's considering it, or they're going to have a time slot opening up in a few months. I didn't get that directly this time, but we added a ton of stations over the last 2 years. I'm not saying we added them all, but a lot of them came on board in the last 2 years. And so again, I was wanting to say thank you, get that FaceTime with Kathy, and the folks at NPR also. Cy Sykes is the gentleman who sells our program and works the deals with stations, and he got a lot of FaceTime with Kathy, and I think that's invaluable. It's hard to quantify just how valuable, but he was able to see and hear her passion for the show and the responsibilities she holds on carrying it forward into the 40th year, and that goes a long way. I mean, they know she's in it to win it, so to speak, and she's a great steward of West Virginia and of West Virginia Public Broadcasting, and really gets public media. She's on the board of Nashville Public Television, so I mean, it's all ingrained in her mind. She knows what ATSC3 is.
Cool.
Any other questions? I'm going to stick around for the next meetings too. If anybody has any questions, happy to talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, an update on our news department.
Sure. Relatively quick. No big new awards to announce this time around, although we did actually receive, I don't remember if that was before the last meeting or not. We received a national award for our Coal in the Way Forward series that we aired last year, which that was from PMJA, Public Media Journalists Association. We're actually working on a new series right now. The state is constantly looking at tourism as a way to restore jobs, but we wanted to take a less brochure, more what does this really mean for the state? So we're looking at a number of different topics related to tourism and how it relates to the state. Not a negative, but just a realistic, what are these tourism jobs and that sort of thing. So that's hopefully going to begin airing in early October. We're working on that right now. The other big thing that we're working on, and I will defer mostly to Chris, but the TLT is coming up. Yes, we're already thinking about the legislative session. It's only 4 months away, and it'll be here soon. So we've already started the process for the legislature today, working with the video production team, the news department, and a number of other groups involved. Eddie was involved in our first meeting the other day. To get that up to speed, and we are going back to 5 days a week, broadcasting live from up the Capitol, 5 days a week. We're looking forward to it, aren't we, Chris? All right. It's a tremendous amount of work, and of course, the production guys put untold hours into the behind-the-scenes side of that. So I'm not going to steal his thunder, but those are the big things coming out of the news department right now.
Americo, give us an update on the grants
Okay, so,
division.
like most of us, when I was preparing my report, I was just looking at the last thing I did. I changed May to September, and doing that, I realized how much has changed since I came on board in August, or I'm sorry, in April. The main focus of what I do has been our MACP grant with Folkways, and I'm happy to say that we have exceeded our quota of stories. We actually have 42 stories, which is over the 36 that we were committed to. And 21 of those stories have aired since April. So we're really in a good position there. When I came on board, it was a matter of trying to figure out who's doing what and what is due. And I got to tell you, the team of people that I am working with have made this a much easier journey. Liz has been excellent with getting us metrics and actually reporting the performance of everything we're doing with Folkways. Just so many other people I interact with are making this happen. We have also hired a new project coordinator, Bianca Isom. She cannot be with us today, but she is very much managing the day-to-day of the Folkways project with MACP. And hopefully when we get this all together, we can start focusing on other grants. That was my objective, was to get this under control and get this running well and start looking elsewhere. So you've heard from Eddie and you've heard from Liz and you've heard from everybody about our focus being digital. In June, we started our agreement with Mesh Studios, who has been helping us with our digital reach. They have built out an Instagram profile for us, and the performance is really good. We're going from 0 to 272 profile visits, 741 page reach with 254 followers. Now, that does sound small, but it is growth. Every week we're getting more. And, we've developed the framework to push content out this in the digital space just for Folkways, but this can be scaled to everything that we do in the organization. So I really want to thank everybody for allowing us to have this investment. I really think it's going to pay back in how we look at things and how we approach things digitally. To say since April, May, we've had 40,000, almost 41,000 podcasts downloaded. Our Twitter account has had 51,363 impressions and 13,782 profile visits. So there's a lot of activity happening there. We can now find opportunities to exploit that, if you will, and be able to find new areas where our listeners are living. So I think we're in a really good place with Folkways. We will be giving our interim report to MACP here in a week. So we will be transitioning out of this first grant, which we had to spend down, and we are on target to spending that down, and we are going to move into the second grant. So that will give us time to rethink what we're going to be doing in the future with Folkways. But that's the big chunk of what I do. We also have other grant activity. And then we have gone forward with West Virginia Humanities for their media grant. And we are also in talks with Just Trust for possible partnership there for podcasts. I've also had a great time working with Maggie and the education team. And like when I say working, I really mean that everybody is contributing in some way to making these things happening. You know, if Maggie's making a phone call with a principal in Boone County and I'm talking to somebody at, you know, West Virginia State, you know, we're all working together to make these happen. So as she said, we have the Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass grant with Maryland Public Television. That we did get that, and we are very much working on that. And we are just waiting to hear back from our Benedum grant for early education, which will be taking place in Boone County. So I can't stress enough how great it is to work with all of you guys. Everybody contributes, and I really feel like I have a very solid team here, depending on which project it is. You know, it's always somebody different. But, you know, with that being said, you know, I want to think about the future of grants that we can be going for. You know, Congress is slated to pass legislation that can benefit us very much with infrastructure improvements. That's something I want to go forward with in the future. There are National Endowment for the Humanities and Arts grants out there. We'd like to have discussions with the Appalachian Regional Commission. And you may know that the governor has appointed a new grants manager at the state level, which is somebody we definitely want to be having discussions with. Her name is Melissa Deckert. So I'm looking forward to bringing more activity into that area and keeping our MACT relationship going. And that's all I got. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, I saved you for last. So Chris Barnard is our new director of video production, and after 20 plus years service to the United States Army, and you know, a graduate of Ohio U in broadcast journalism with a specialty in documentaries, which is so important to public television. We feel like we landed the right guy, and I'm not so sure that he thinks that right now after I've walked him into this, but we're excited to have Chris. And Chris, if you could just give us kind of an update.
Yeah, no problem. I've been here less than 2 months. Unfortunately, I arrived just before the picnic and went to the picnic, so thank you for the please stay on. I appreciate that greatly. One of the things I'm trying to do right now is we had a backlog of projects that we're trying to push out and complete and move them on to the on-air status, so Eddie can, you know, broadcast them. Then we're going to move on to the productions of Legend Today and the History Bowl and those events. Well, we're aiming for a clean slate to start a whole new slate of documentaries that focus on more modern West Virginia, not relying so much on the past, but recent important figures, recent major events to showcase West Virginia and modern spotlight instead of just talking about, you know, not just the old music of the 1880s or the Civil War, but what's West Virginia doing now or in the past 20 years is significant and important for the nation. With that, we want to spotlight a Mountain Stage documentary of the 40th anniversary. We're doing this piece on Woody Williams for Memorial Day. So we got a slew of things, as well as continuing relationship with the CIS program. We have a documentary that coming out soon. And we're hoping to get into more of a regular production of like a series of, you know, like a related series, kind of like an Untitled Last Show, but for, you know, the television side. There's no hardcore like every week product going on because these things take time to develop and edit and shoot and get them all ready to go. But we want to have a more regular basis of 3 to 4 new documentaries per year instead of one every now and then. So it's kind of, you know, taking the pieces I have, putting them where they need to be so they can actually do the job. One of that is we've had a few retirements recently, so we got to replace the outgoing team with new young blood, and then we got to get them trained to all be on the same slate so they all can do the same kind of job no matter who's being picked for assignment. So we're lining up some new training to come in to make sure that they all know how to use their modern equipment update their equipment and get them ready to go, so they're not working on 3 different levels of skill or technology. I'm looking forward to it. I know Eric was kind of being half joking about looking forward to the legit today, but I really am. I love the maelstrom of chaos of production. This has been what I've been doing for the past 21 years in the military, is video work. So I'm really looking forward to it. I really do geek out on this stuff. Not as much as Tyler does when a satellite goes down or something like that, but overall, I really do enjoy the product. And I really like working with everybody and seeing all the different opinions and concepts and ideas, because I like creating things, and that's just, I'm so glad to be here. If I have any questions, I'll be around all day.
I think that's the conclusion of the report.
Thank you, Butch. Does anybody have any questions about any of, or with any of the speakers this morning?
I think it is all awesome. Each meeting is just better. You know, I expected from Butch, but then he's put together a hell of a team.
Yes. You taught Butch.
Exciting.
I think my observation is that the level of creativity and enthusiasm has exponentially risen as these new hires come in. To hear the joy, to see the smiles, to look at someone who is anxious to create and make a difference, to look at who we are, not who we were. I think all those things are really, really important, and I would encourage all of you to continue to be creative, and you know, if you have ideas and if they don't seem within your grasp, don't give up on them. Let's explore them and see if we can't find the money somewhere to make all this happen, because the bottom line is this is one of those organizations in a state that gives not only a beautiful fabric for all of us to look at the stitches that go into that fabric and appreciate the artistry, the expertise, and quite frankly, the humility that you can do this without pounding on your chest and saying, look at me. And for that, I thank you very, very much.
I would like to say one more thing. I can't thank the Friends of Public Broadcasting enough for what they've done and what they continue to do. I think the biggest thing that they've allowed us to do is provide training and certification and to do that, because if we were just relying on the general revenue budget that we have, we couldn't do any of that. And that is vital to us. And Brian, I can't say enough about that. I think it's it continues to make a big difference in us being able to be creative. So thank you very much. Thank the Friends.
Absolutely. It takes a full team, and I think that's what you have. Everything is so positive. If everybody in the state could see what is going on, they'd recognize there is something of public broadcasting for everyone. Everyone doesn't have to watch or listen to every program, but there is something there that certainly helps our state, and every citizen should be proud of what you all are doing. There's a tremendous staff you have, and the professionalism, creativity, just the talent is amazing. So thank you, Bush, for what you brought. And we thank the curator. I know he is a very strong supporter of public broadcasting, works hard on it. And every Wednesday morning, there are 4 or 5 of us that have an executive committee meeting, and the curator participates, and it's very interesting. There's a lot going on, and it's something makes us very proud to be involved with. So, does anybody have anything else they wanted to add this morning? If not, I'm going to ask for a motion to go into an executive session. I will say before we do that, lunch is going to be served on the 3rd floor. Everybody is invited to that. At 12:30, the foundation will meet here again. So, and it should be a relatively short West Virginia Broadcast Foundation meeting. We're not going to get a full report from all the staff again as we have in the past. So, but I would ask for.
Yeah, go ahead. No. Christina, would someone call me into the executive session?
So we can do one of two things, Nancy, for you and Tim. We can either contact the two of you all via cell phone, or I know you're on the road. There's a call-in number
Yes.
on our phone here that you can also call into if you would like that number. So we can,
I'm not hands-free.
I gotcha. I will have somebody
Maybe
call you
my
on.
husband could help me. Yeah. If you could text me the number that I need to call at 304-671-9745, and then my husband can assist me. He's beside me here.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I'll make a motion that we go into executive session. Sorry to interrupt again.
Do we have a second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say. We are now going into executive session.
Are we gonna have that here?
Yes, we are
Yeah.
going to executive session, will take place
Yeah.
in this room.
Yeah, you won't need to read
I
out.
just got a note from Christie
Yeah.
on that. So,
Work with me here. Oh, took it off of there.
Randy? Can't see the number, Randy. Hey, sir, I can't see the number to dial it. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, thanks. Sorry. Please turn on the mic so we can go ahead. Page and say the whole thing.
Okay. We just had a motion to come out of the executive session. That was passed. We were back in regular session. There was no business discussed in regular session, and there has been a motion to adjourn. So the meeting is adjourned. The authority meeting it was announced December 7th will be the next meeting of the authority here in Charleston.